foil flags all around the Stadium of Light and a giant banner of a pretty scary looking black cat with its claws out, suspended from the roof of this stand behind the goal to the right hand side. And now all of that is done, the players can high five and start thinking about the game as some young mascots make their way into the centre circle with the Sunderland club mascots Samson and Delilah, the two black cats. Newcastle United blue and orange today, the third kit. Ramsdale wearing yellow, Sunderland red and white stripes, black shorts and red socks, and Roofs the goalkeeper wearing green and white. Referee blue shirts, black shorts and black socks, same for his assistants. Peter Banks, the man in the middle, Eddie Smart and Blake Antrobus are the linesmen. Simon Hooper is the fourth official. Stuart Atwell on VAR, assisted by Alex Chilowitz. Sunderland, Robin Roofs in goal, their ever-present goalkeeper signed from the Dutch League in the summer. Nordi Mukiele, Dan Ballard, Omar Alderete and Reynildo at the back. Noah Siddiqui, Granit Xhaka in the middle. Bertrand Traore, the ex-Aston Villa player who was one of Sunderland's many acquisitions in the transfer window. Enzo Lefebvre, Shamsdeen Talbi, who's got 2 goals, a late winner at Chelsea and the goal in their draw with Liverpool a week and a half ago, and Brian Broby, the Dutch international, who has 2 goals up front. Newcastle United, Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Byrne, Hall, Bruno, Tanali, Miley, who replaces Joe Linton, came on for Joe Linton actually in the FA Cup derby 2 years ago, Miley. Elanga in from the start in place of Barnes in United's 2 changes. Gordon, who scored a penalty in each of his last 3 games, and Baltamada up top. And players are now making their way towards the centre circle as the Stadium of Light, home and away fans, home and away players come together to honour the legendary former Sunderland striker, red and white hero Gary Rowell, whose death was announced last night. Period of applause for Gary Rowell, Sunderland paying their respects, and now they're ready. Newcastle United and Sunderland AFC. A huddle from Eddie Howe's men in blue. The last time they met, Ando, we've talked about it already, it was Premier League versus Championship. It's different today. How do Newcastle United ensure they get the same outcome as 2 seasons ago?
I think it'll be a different type of game than 2 seasons ago, Razor, if I'm perfectly honest. The last time we were here was obviously in the FA Cup, and it was men against boys. It was very, very comfortable. You know, we won in a canter, we didn't need to get out of second gear. You just get the impression that it's going to be a little bit tougher today.
Newcastle will also go above Sunderland for the first time this season if they get the victory today. Lots at stake. Bruno Guimaraes kicks us underway. Back to Aaron Ramsdale. 5 yards outside his box. Newcastle shooting towards the right in the first half. Header from Ballard at the back. Lewis Hall on his chest in midfield. Nice and composed. Fouled, however, as a sliding tackle came in from Bertrand Traore. I thought he got the ball.
I thought he got the ball as well. He started already, this referee, hasn't he?
He can continue like that, though, if he's going to give it Newcastle's way. Free kick just to the left of the centre circle. Bruno Guimaraes behind it. An early set piece for Newcastle. Floated into the area. Referee spotted an infringement. There's a defender down, Reinildo. I think Voltemada did something he shouldn't have. Now the ball's at the other end of the pitch. It needs to be returned. It's going to be a tough day for the referee. Whatever we may have said about previous performances, it's mentally draining and taxing for players. It will be for the man at the heart of it all, Peter Banks. Free kick on the edge of the area to be taken by the goalkeeper Roofs. By all accounts, one of Sunderland's best players this season. Edge of the penalty area. Dan Burn with a header, comes out to the left wing. Talby back. Reinildo inside. Stabbed back by Lefay to Ballard on halfway. Another crowd favourite, Dan Ballard. Switches it onto the chest of Talby. Away from Livramento, back to Reinildo. And collected in the wide left position by Noah Siddiqui, the midfielder. They signed him from Union Saint-Gilloise, the club Newcastle beat earlier in the Champions League campaign. It's already being linked with Man United and Chelsea, Siddiqui. Ballard back to Alderete, just behind halfway. 0-0 in the first couple of minutes of the derby. Alderete's still got it. The Paraguayan defender, now Talby. Elanga goes to close down. Sunderland going backwards and sideways with the ball mostly. Broby makes a run edge of the area. Malik Chow keeping watch. Back across halfway to Ballard. Looks to lift it in behind Lewis Hall. It's gone behind, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, just a ball in behind. First touch got away from him, didn't it?
Mukiele from right back.
Yeah, just bounced off his shin. Gone behind, goal kick.
Early goal in one of the other matches. West Ham have a 1-0 lead over Aston Villa. Mateus Fernandes for West Ham. Ramsdale goal kick. BBC Radio Newcastle, BBC Sport website and app, and the Newcastle United website and app. The derby. 0-0. Dan Burn, header into midfield. Siddiqui on. Broby backing in, heads it down. Miley. Good ball played forwards. Voltemada taken under control. And he looked for Gordon. Xhaka sticks it out. Throw taken by Hall. Back to Burn. Whipped across to Chow. Couple of touches onto Livramento. Closed down quickly. Here is Elanga, who gets dispossessed. It's out for a throw to Sunderland. Elanga says it should be Newcastle's ball, but they don't get the decision. Reinildo next to Régis Lebris, arms folded. Navy tracksuit, Eddie Howe patrolling the technical area for Newcastle as Voltemada comes close to intercepting a square ball across Sunderland's defensive line. It's cleared and sent forward in the nick of time. He just couldn't quite get there.
No, he got lucky. It was a poor ball. Alderete sold Ballard short.
Hall to Gordon. He brings it infield off the left flank, still in his own half, looking for big Voltemada. Alderete, that's better defending. Talby to Broby. Gordon's won it back in the middle. Challenged, however, by Xhaka, who gets on the ball here. 33 years of age now, Granit Xhaka. Reinildo stumbled, but had time to steady himself and play it back to Alderete, who gets it again from Xhaka, middle of the red and white half. 5 minutes gone. BBC Radio Newcastle. Reinildo making his way up the left wing. Finds him. He's 40 yards from goal, however. Brought inside. Siddiqui square. Ballard with a bit of space. On it goes from Sunderland. Bertrand Traore. Away from Gordon. Back to Mukiele. Cross is stabbed away by Newcastle. Miley for Gordon. Out wide to Hall. Gordon wants it back and maybe has the chance to run. No, he's played it inside, but Miley couldn't get there. It was behind him, and Lefay read the situation. Right wing for Sunderland. onto Lefay, a cutback straight to Tonali. I think it's his first touch, Tonali. The clearance, which goes straight back to Mukiele. Newcastle unable to keep it or clear it when they get it. Reynildo's cross.
Sure.
Easy for Chow to head away. Xhaka, not the best touch. Alderete with Voltemada on his shoulder, plays it to Roofs, well outside his area. Xhaka now inside to Sadiki, links up with Lefay. Reynildo to Xhaka and swept across to Ballard. 0-0 in behind, but Dan Burn comes across, gets a big touch on the ball. Broby gets in front and wins Sunderland a corner kick.
He needed to be better, Bourne, didn't he? Needed to be sharper. You're not going to get that type of time in a derby game.
Xhaka goes across, first corner of the afternoon, 0-0. Newcastle, no chances yet. Sunderland had a bit of play around the edge of the box. Nobody on either post. Ramsdale just a yard or so off the line. Xhaka left-footed to the back of the 6-yard box. Important header away by Tonali, lifted back up into the middle. Burn, surely that's a foul. Play on, says the referee. Looked like he got a push, but Voltemada's cleared it. Reynildo forwards, helped on by Sunderland. Then Lewis Hall has won it. Home fans getting excited, but Hall is there to intercept, and now Gordon. This might be their first chance to really go forwards properly. Here it comes for Livramento. Elanga just ahead of him, now in the Sunderland half. Anthony Elanga drops his shoulder, comes inside, finds Voltemada, got it caught between his feet, slips it back through for Elanga, but Roof comes off his line to slide onto the ball.
Unlucky. It's the first time we've seen us in that final third of the pitch. Good touch by Voltemada, and his ball for Elanga, return ball was just a little bit too heavy.
Elanga did well. Voltemada, when he saw Elanga was coming inside, just peeled off Ballard, didn't he? Defender didn't go with him, and Elanga kept going. It was a nice move. Oh, there's a mistake there by Alderete, and Voltemada trying to get onto it, but it's a recovery from the centre-back, who's had a couple of moments that have been rather dodgy so far, and Voltemada, with a bit of help from Bruno, very close to winning it back for Newcastle in a great position.
Yeah, you need to be sharper than that. You're not going to get the time. He's had a couple of dodgy moments as the big centre-back.
Sadiki to Xhaka. Plays it through a gap to Lefay. Livramento slid in. Reynildo on for Talby with a cross that beats everybody to throw on the far side for Newcastle.
Poor ball, wasn't it?
Passed their way through them though. And Livramento dived in.
Yeah, he did. Not like him.
Paul with the ball. 9 minutes already out of the way. Looking for Voltemada with the throw, one back by Sunderland. On the right wing, 25 yards out, inside to Sadiki. Xhaka, they've started better with it. They've had more of the ball, haven't they, John Anderson?
Yeah, they've had more of the ball. They passed it quite well, actually. Keeping a good shape, though. Getting plenty of blue shorts behind the ball, filling holes.
Here's Alderete. It's it back from Xhaka. And again. Alderete.
Oh, he's done it
let him have it all afternoon. Elanga. Oh, Gordon's free on the far side. Voltemada, can he play it? Voltemada inside looking for the run of Elanga, but he needed to switch it to Gordon, who was going absolutely mad. Elanga could have played it first time. They went up the line to Voltemada, and I don't know if they just didn't see Gordon, but he's in if the ball is played. Yeah,
it needed to be played first time as well. He's got his head down. He doesn't see Gordon on that far side, who was in acres of space if the ball's played early. He's clean through on goal.
He might not be able to hear if he gets a shout, but surely they would see him. Gordon was furious, because if it's whipped across, he's there with only the goalkeeper to beat. And Alderete That's 3 mistakes now that he's made, and he's got away with them. Lefay, edge of the area, Broby eased out of it by Byrne. Ramsdale comes off his line quickly, gets it restarted quickly as well for Lewis Miley. On to Anthony Gordon, chance to run it, Nordi Mukiele for the first time. Gordon takes it towards the edge of the area, goes on the outside of Mukiele, who wins the battle with a challenge after Gordon cut in off the touchline. Lefay at full stretch, can't get there on halfway. Chow onto Miley, gets turned and goes square to Tonali, and here's Gordon again. Going to have another go at Mukiele, attacking the goal to the right, Newcastle. Back to Tonali, and now Miley. Bruno's pushed up, it's close to Baltimore, they're actually near the D. Ollie Watkins has equalised for Aston Villa. West Ham 1, Villa 1. Elanga to Bruno. Livramento's made a run. Elanga so too, and gets it back in the wide position. Oh, he's overhit his little knock into space up the line and run it behind. Gordon and Baltimore are still in communication. Don't know why Elanga didn't play it to Gordon. I think Baltimore has seen him, but he's seen him too late, and he acknowledged it. But Elanga could have played Gordon in because he had space if he played the angled ball.
Yeah, it needed to be played sharper.
Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. Throw for the home side on the far side of the pitch, which is their right. Burns header. Sunderland get it back. 2 players go down on halfway. Sunderland get the decision. Byrne on Broby. He's a big lad, isn't he, Broby? Stocky, the centre forward. Cry of "if you hate the Mags, stand up" as the Sunderland fans in front of us get on their feet. There'll probably be some people in the media area standing up, given where respective loyalties lie across the northeast media. Here is Sunderland with a dangerous ball into the 6-yard box that Malik Chow puts behind. Ramsdale didn't come. Everyone froze when Traore whipped it in with it outside of his left boot from the right wing. Fortunately for Newcastle, nobody in red and white gambled, but Chow had to deal with it.
Yeah, he's just put it, what? Dear, oh dear. He's close, isn't he?
Corner kick, Sunderland left. Lefay headed across the box, good header away by Tonali, back of the 6-yard box. And
free kick.
Newcastle are given a decision by referee Peter Banks. About a quarter of an hour played, John Anderson. Describe what you've watched so far.
Sunderland have had all the ball, they've passed it well, they've kept it well, but there's been no real clear-cut chances as of yet. I think we're sitting in, we've defended well, I think we've kept our shape well. As I say, even though Sunderland have had all the ball, we're just filling holes, getting blue shorts behind the ball, making Sunderland play in front of us.
They look long for Baltimore. There's 2 on him. Sadiki volleys away. Hall trying to cushion a pass to Gordon. Tonali intercepts on halfway, then finds a bit of space. Swartz really tight. Tonali's done so well to hold on. Oh, he's been dragged to the floor. Free kick.
How did he think he was ever going to get away with that?
Clear foul on Tonali from Traore. 0-0. Newcastle's bench: Ruddy, Cher, Joelinton, Wissa, Barnes, Jacob Murphy, Willock, Alex Murphy, Ramsey. No Pope, despite the suggestion that he might be fit. He's not in the squad. Botman, Trippier, Kraft, Osula are all still missing. From the free kick, Gordon is 5 yards, 10 yards behind the last defender, but they look for players in the middle. Baltimore helping on Miley with a header. Here's Elanga, hooked into the 6-yard box, but easily claimed by Roofs.
Yeah, set piece just went long, got flicked on. He's just tried to help it back into an area, hasn't he? Elanga didn't get the greatest contact on it. Easy for Roof to just come and pick it up.
Alderete behind the halfway line on the near side. Sadiki, the midfielders, come in to a deep position to get it, plays it square away from Voltemada, and now Ballard back to Sadiki. Alderete long, Byrne is there, it's come for Elanga, it's a high ball, too high for Voltemada. Sunderland's defence deals with it. Alderete, a back heel to Talby, inside to Xhaka on halfway. Tonali, the closest player in Newcastle blue to Xhaka, he plays it towards the right, then gets it back again from Ballard. Xhaka's ball, pinpoint accuracy onto the right boot of Talby, plays it against Livramento, and it comes to Lefay. Livramento makes an important block, and it goes out. Now Nordi Mukiele, the right back, is coming over to the left. He's got a long throw. He was on the bench in the Champions League for PSG, Mukiele, when Newcastle played them both times 2 seasons ago. One of Sunderland's summer new boys. Here comes the long throw. It's about in line with the penalty box. Nobody on either post. They look for the near side of the 6-yard box, and it's whipped across the face of goal by Alderete. And it's a Newcastle throw 25 yards up from their goal line.
Yeah, again, a little bit heavy-handed, Alderete, wasn't it? Just needed help, and then they just drilled it. Gone out on that far side for a throw-in.
Now the goalkeeper required yet. No saves. Paul's done well there from Bruno's pass, then he's pinged it out to Livramento. Good first touch, is it? No, Talby's got back at him. It's a hard ball to control. He took it down and took it into space, but Talby was full of running and furiously got back there to regain possession for Sunderland, who have been better on the ball than Newcastle have. And they've had that one moment where they got it from a Sunderland mistake. Elanga to Voltemada, but they couldn't find Gordon, who was completely free. And they've not seen a huge amount of the ball. And they're looking to counter-attack as Sunderland dominate possession. Still goalless on BBC Radio Newcastle. Left side of central midfield, and Alderete across halfway for Ballard. Traore looking for Broby, holds it up, Bernard is back, laid off out wide to Mukiele. Now Xhaka, there's some curl in that pass onto the thigh of Reinildo. Livramento, but Elanga was slow on his heels, and Reinildo wins it back, and Livramento's not happy.
Needed to be sharper, didn't he?
Ballard closed down by Miley, out to the right wing. Hall, that's a good challenge to push it away, but he can't get a second touch. Sunderland regain possession. We're going to have a look at the possession stats, because the percentage will be heavily in Sunderland's favour. The scoreboard says 0-0 though. Most importantly, Talby away from Livramento. That's better from Elanga defensively. Good covering, wins it back. Tonali here to Elanga, back to Tonali, good one-touch play. Bruno wide right, up the line, Voltemada, free kick, sent tumbling next to the halfway line, and Eddie Howe applauds his players. They worked their way out of trouble there really well.
Yeah, it was a foul on Guimaraes on the touch line.
It was Lefay on Bruno, you're right, Endo, rather than
two balls on the pitch.
Voltemada one. Sunderland 72% of the ball. No shots yet from either team. Livramento to Chow. Into the feet of Ramsdale. Lewis Hall up the line towards Anthony Gordon, inside, Voltemada can't get there. Ballard slides in, the home fans love that. Ballard's one of their favourites. And Voltemada was on his heels. Lewis Hall there, cushioned header back to Ramsdale from a floated ball into the box. I feel like they can sharpen up a little bit, maybe. I'm not trying to be overly critical, but some, you know, a couple of times they haven't been ready for the ball when it's been played.
Yeah, just want a little bit too much time.
Elanga from Ramsdale's goal, kick to Voltemada, back to Elanga. That'll come across to Gordon, who lets it run with a step over for Hall. Up from the back, Lewis Hall into the penalty area on the outside. Hall's cross hung up, but it beats everybody in the middle. Bruno and Voltemada, it was too high and bounced at the back of the box. Only red and white shirts there. And Sunderland on their way forwards. They've put a lot into this, Sunderland, as have the home crowd. Traore, infield away from Gordon, 30 yards out here, Xhaka. Chow diving header, Newcastle want free kick, don't get it. Block shot from Lefay, edge of the area. Tonali up and away. Reynildo header forwards. It's a yellow and orange match ball. There's big Dan Burn with a header. Sunderland want a free kick, they don't get it. Bruno caught late by Xhaka, and Newcastle get the decision. Referee's going to check on Enzo Lefay, who's on his back holding his face.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Burn's just come over the top and won the ball. Just nothing in that at all.
Lefay was holding his chin, and Burns' arm caught him on the neck at the back.
Yeah, didn't hit him in the face. No.
And then Bruno got caught and then got a mouthful from Xhaka after the challenge came in. 0-0. Midway through the first half on BBC Radio Newcastle. Burn to Hall, he's been fouled. But it was a short pass from Burn. It did Hall no favours. Back in play. Chow finds Livramento. Bruno back to Chow. Sunderland's press, forcing Newcastle back to Ramsdale. Here's Burn. Gordon by halfway. Hall comes back to Burn, inside to Ramsdale. Chow gives him an angle. Ramsdale decides to relieve the pressure by going long. Voltemada helps on, but there was nobody running beyond. Elanga did his best to get there, but he's coming from right wing to left centre forward, if you like. And it was a big ask. Ballard away, swinging ball into the Newcastle half. Traore control, but it's gone out. The team is Ramsdale, Livramento, Chow, Burn, Hall, Bruno, Tonali, Miley, Elanga, Gordon, Voltemada. Two changes from Leverkusen in the Champions League. Miley and Elanga for Joelinton and Barnes, who are on the bench. Livramento's in, right side of the area. Livramento's cross is blocked. It's great defending, vital defending from Alderete, but they found him with a brilliant ball. It's a terrific run.
Huge space. He found himself in so much space. Nobody's tracked Livramento in there. He's well onside as well.
It's one of those passes that breaks the lines from Malik Chow that he does so well. And Livramento does that, gets forward, slightly inverted position, not quite wide. He was inside the box. He had players arriving, couldn't find them. Alderete put it behind. Lewis Hall on the right. Newcastle's first corner kick. Hall delivers. Roofs punched it when he could have let it go and go out on the far side. Tonali's kept it in. Tries to stick it back in there. Bruno, edge of the area. Livramento in the centre circle. Comes out to Elanga inside. Oh, they've opened Sunderland up here. Tino Livramento with a cross, hung up, but they can't find Voltemada. It was too short for him. Bruno wins it back, making a challenge that Sunderland want a free kick for. Meanwhile, Voltemada in the area. Challenge on Voltemada. He's down. Play on, says referee Peter Banks. Sunderland clear. Oh, both teams.
Best bit of play so far.
With a player down, Broby for Sunderland. Voltemada stayed down in the penalty area. Did they have a case there, or was that a fair challenge?
You'd like to see it again, wouldn't you?
We continue to play on at the Stadium of Light. 0-0 as Jared Bowen puts West Ham 2-1 up back in front against Aston Villa. Palace, Man City, Forest against Spurs, both goalless. Elanga, it's better from Newcastle. Elanga to Livramento, doesn't give him the return. Livramento comes inside. Bruno now to Chow, just ahead of halfway. Match hasn't stopped since the challenge on Voltemada, and we haven't seen it again. Gordon has played it straight at Mukiele, who plays it through his legs to find Traore. And now up to Broby, ahead of the centre circle. Chow's challenge, Sunderland free kick. And a yellow card's just been shown.
To Broby, was it?
Looks like it's Brian Broby. 27th minute. Looks like Broby was yellow carded. It's not the worst foul from Malik Chow. Must have been for dissent. Did he wave the imaginary yellow card? I think that's why. Roofs to take the free kick. We haven't seen the challenge on Voltemada again. We can only assume that it was checked and cleared and there was no foul in there. I'm not saying that there was, but it's one that you'd want to see again. Free kick they haven't made the most of, and then it's back to halfway and Xhaka, and it's gone out, but it's next to the corner flag. I don't know if that was intentional.
No. He's just got lucky, hasn't he? It's hit the flag, could have went to either side, but fortunately for us, it's gone out for a throw in.
Newcastle have to get a bit deeper. Lewis Hall back to him from Tonali, and Hall away. Cleared their lines. Sunderland throw on the right wing. Regis Lebritz scribbling something down onto a notepad. Jason Tyndall's joined Eddie Howe at the edge of the technical area. Johan Wissa, meanwhile, is warming up. Sunderland long throw. About 15 yards out, right side. Byrne and Chow have got hands on Ballard, who's taken a tumble. He gets back up. Newcastle get the ball clear, back out to the right wing. Sunderland with the chance to deliver a cross. Try through Traore to play it through ball. It's back to Xhaka. Too high.
Never trouble in Ramsdale, was it?
Nottingham Forest lead Tottenham Hotspur 1-0. Callum Hudson-Odoi has scored. Here it's goalless. Ballard, I don't think, needed a lot of encouragement to go down there, but they were all holding each other.
See it all the time from set pieces, pushing and shoving.
One from Ramsdale, far side, it bounces once and goes out. Something that is often said about derby matches. They've taken the throw in a way that the referee does not approve of. They have to do it against Sunderland. Is that they are rarely classics, and this joins, so far at least after almost half an hour, the list of derby matches that meet that description. Or
Alderete
again, that's the fourth time. Elanga, Elanga's given it away as he tried to get Livramento in on the right after another mistake by Omar Alderete, the Sunderland centre-back. Now Livramento and Tonali win it. And that should be a Newcastle throw. Left touch was off a Sunderland player. Eddie Smart on the near side's got that completely wrong. And
nobody's complained.
No, they did, straight away. As soon as it went out, there were four of them, put their arms out and turned to the assistant. It was slammed against, I think it was Siddiqui, who ended up in the Newcastle technical area and got a hug from Eddie Howe. Throw for Sunderland. But Alderete again, making mistakes, and Elanga likewise. He keeps giving the ball away. He's just done so there once more. Broby for Talby. Trying to take on Chow. Gets past him. Helped out by Bruno. He's near the goal line, tries to come to the corner, Bruno. Drags it back, flicks it through his legs to Chow. Livramento to Elanga here. He's going to start to run. He's played it into space, but it's between blue shirts. Broby now away from Tenali.
Get in! Get in the box, man!
Mukiele. Back to Traore. Sunderland, right of centre. Xhaka across to Alderete. Rolls it to the feet of Talby. 20 yards out. Looked like he was going to whip one in with his right. He's played it to Ronaldo, who's totally sliced the cross. It must be a confidence thing with Elanga, because he's had a couple of good moments so far, but there have been other times where he hasn't been decisive at all in his action, passing the ball or just helping it on without looking.
You just wonder whether he doesn't see it.
Selected today ahead of Jacob Murphy and Harvey Barnes, Anthony Elanga, who was very good at Everton. It's been a mixed bag from him so far, but Omar Alderete, Sunderland's left-sided centre-back, keeps losing the ball. In midfield here, Bruno, Miley takes it, looks for space, has to go back to Hall, up to Gordon, challenged by Mukiele. Newcastle throw taken on halfway by Lewis Hall. Dan Burn over to Malik Chow. Livramento backpedaling into space, receives it. Tenali inside, Elanga up the line, gets it from Livramento. He's given it to Bruno, and the skipper comes back to Chow. Nothing risky. Ramsdale's available. Newcastle forced back by Sunderland. It's still goalless in the weird time derby. They sing 6 in a row after their winning run. Newcastle have actually failed in the Premier League to win any of the last 9 derby matches. Sunderland won the last 3 Premier League ones here. Chow, that's too much on it for Livramento, trying to do what they did before when he got in and won a corner, but the pass was overhit.
Yeah, hasn't been crisp, has it? Passing hasn't been good.
Lewis Hall intercepts on halfway. Now possibilities. Miley takes it inside, could have left it for Gordon. Back to Tenali. Sunderland get players back and get shape. Newcastle's play's been quite slow across midfield, and it's allowed Sunderland to get everybody back as Elanga wins a throw off Ronaldo. Tenali at walking pace inside to Chow. Every red and white shirt behind it. Tenali's 45 yards out, now moving forwards. Bruno square, he gets it, lays it off to Chow across the centre circle to Burn. Haven't had many passages of play like this where they've just passed it, Newcastle, have they really? Gordon is lost out to Mukiele. Burn comes sliding in and has stayed down after being caught by Mukiele. He's holding his chest down, Burn. Nordi Mukiele might get a yellow card here, he does. Regis Labris is out to the 4th official, Simon Hooper. Looks like his knee caught Burn in the chest. And Burn has stayed down.
I mean, they both slid in from a distance.
It's not intentional.
I don't know how he deems who hit who there, you know.
There's no medical style now they're coming on for Dan Burn. He's managed to get himself up. He's on his knee. Well, he's on his knees with his hands planted on the floor, his head bowed. I suppose if you take a knee into the chest, it's going to hurt, whether someone's meant to do it or not. Mukiele yellow carded. Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. Dan Burn receives treatment. 10 minutes to half-time, John Anderson. Have they come into it a little bit more?
Little bit. Hasn't been a great deal of goal-mouth action, has there, at either end? Hasn't been as feisty as we thought it would be either, is it?
It's been tame.
Yeah.
So far, at least. Dan Burn receiving treatment. Fabian Schär warms up. He named among the substitutes. Alex Murphy as an additional defender. It's not looking great for Dan Burn. No Sven Botman yet. Had an injection in his back recently, but not fit to return. Looking at his ribs, aren't they? Whether there could be possibly a broken rib. The doctor is there with Burn. Fabian Schär jogging up and down the touchline. Burn is now sitting up. He might have to go off here. Fabian Schär's waiting for the call. Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe watch on at the edge of the pitch. Burn's back on his feet. They've got to make sure that he's checked out and give him the all clear. I mean, the knee, because of the way that he slid in, and he pulled his studs and his legs away, Mukiele. The way that it's connected with him, it's in a way that will hurt, and they've just got to check it out, because, I mean, if there is any problem...
Yeah, he doesn't go down easy, does he?
Carry on. But he looks like they're going to try to get him back on after 30 seconds off here. One to monitor though, Ando. It's a Newcastle free kick.
Yeah.
Still holding his rib
Hold
cage.
his rib cage, yeah.
Gordon again stands in that offside position from the first phase. They look for Voltemade. He's beaten in the air. Bruno header on. Elanga trying to make something of it. Reinildo's got there, and Elanga's eased into Reinildo and won Newcastle a throw. 25 yards out on this near right-hand side. Burn just catching his breath, hands on hips, waiting for the signal to come back on. Not yet, though. Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall are at the fourth official. Burn waved back on. Doesn't look comfortable at all. Livramento's throw, Tonali lifts it over into the right wing for Bruno, who is bundled
What
over
a stupid
by
free kick
Reinildo.
to give away that is.
And Newcastle United, 20 yards out, almost on the right touchline, have got a free kick. It's a great position for an attacking free kick. Reinildo into the back of Bruno. All day long.
Oh, it's a stupid free kick to give away.
BBC Radio Newcastle. This is the black and white perspective, our Sunderland angle today with Barnsley and Benno, DAB, Freeview Channel 711 and the BBC Sounds app. Gordon again stands ahead of the last line of defenders. And the free kick from the captain Bruno, wide on the right. It's a good one into a dangerous area.
A dangerous area as well.
But it's
yet again,
uncontested.
the same as the last week.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming around the back. Everybody's gone near post.
Remember the corners in Leverkusen? There were a few of them that were dropped into that area, back post. Everybody went front post. And he puts good quality in. Long throw from Lewis Hall in line with the penalty spot, far side. Burn is in there, as is Chow. Sunderland head it back out wide. Hall takes a touch, delivers
Great
a cross.
ball.
Oh, hooked away by Sunderland as Voltemade was making his move. They defended it well because it was a ball into a good area. Now Miley's won it back for Tonali, holding off his man. Plays it to Miley, under pressure. He's surrounded by red and white shirts. Miley wants a free kick but doesn't get it. A Sunderland chance to attack in the 40th minute. They've only got two in the middle. Traore comes in off the right wing. Cross from Lefay, blocked by Hall. It'll be a throw. It's a very good ball in by Hall. Dan Burn still holding underneath his
struggling, isn't he?
pec, his right chest muscle. The throw, not a long one into the box, back to Xhaka, then out wide. Mukiele tries to cross. Bruno makes the block. Bruno, wow, oh dear. Bruno does what he does and lets out a roar. Dan Burn's gone down, he's going to have to come off. Fabian Schär's ready and coming on. They should have just... Why didn't they take him off in the first instance? As influential as he is, he clearly wasn't substitution is being made. Wembley hero Dan Burn. His derby day is over. Fabian Schär is coming on. He's taking his strapping off his right hand and wrist, Dan Burn. And Fabian Schär is on. There's the substitution. Sunderland throw on the far side. Meanwhile, Erling Haaland's given Manchester City a 1-0 lead at Crystal Palace. Sunderland throw on the right, dropped towards the 6-yard line. Chow away, back into a midfield area. Xhaka clips it into the penalty box. Ramsdale comes and claims.
Good take.
And he's got Elanga making a quick run. It's an underarm rollout to Livramento, who slips but manages to find Tenali, who brings it back into a bit of space. Now on to Bruno. Voltemada wants it in behind. Bruno has instead whipped it across the halfway line, switched the play to Anthony Gordon. Sunderland player down. Newcastle don't have to knock it out. Referee can choose to stop the game. Broby still down as Elanga
Likes a roll around.
takes on Reinildo and wins the throw next to the corner flag.
Broby likes a roll around, doesn't he?
Anthony Elanga. It was a challenge from Reinildo, who I think Elanga had maybe overrun the ball. Reinildo put it out. Broby got caught as Bruno's foot just followed through after he played the ball. It was completely accidental, and he was unsighted when he connected with Broby, who's back on his feet. 0-0. Livramento to Bruno, gets it back, sends in a cross, and in the 6-yard box it bounces and up into the hands of Roofs. Fabian Schär was in there but was well marshalled by two Sunderland defenders, one either side.
Yeah, it was like slow motion, wasn't it? Ball just seemed to be hanging there and it just bounced. Keeper just came, picked it up.
Newcastle have got Joe Linton warming up, and he's gone for a word with the fourth official. Eddie Howe, now his turn to make some notes. 44th minute. And Sunderland possession. Now they look to release in behind Lewis Hall at full stretch. Heads it out. Sadiki's pass and the run from Mukiele. Getting bodies forwards, Ballard and Alderete, the centre-backs, Lefay on his chests. Back out wide and then to halfway, Gordon putting pressure on. Won a penalty in this fixture a couple of years ago, Anthony Gordon, late on. Scored penalties in each of his last 3 games. Not really had a lot of the ball today, though, or the chance to make anything happen, and we're heading towards half-time. Sunderland 30 yards from Newcastle's goal. Lefay decided not to cross and instead played inside to Traore, and now Xhaka comes back out wide right to Lefay. Xhaka again. He delivers a cross, headed over the top. The run round the back from Dan Ballard, got over Livramento, but couldn't get his header anywhere near the target.
Yeah, decent ball in, back post. Livramento's done well, he's backed into, just nudged him, couldn't get it on target.
It's a chance, but there hasn't been an effort on target yet, has there, from either team?
No.
Ramsdale thought he was going long, and Chow just stayed in a deep position and available, and since the change, Chow's gone to left centre-back, Schär on for the injured Dan Burn at right centre-back. 3 minutes minimum additional time. Newcastle with possession. Fabian Schär, Gordon into space, he wants the Schär diagonal ball, the run through the middle from Miley, but it was too close to the goalkeeper from Schär's pass, but you could see what they were trying to do. Mukiele here, under pressure from 2 and then 3 in Newcastle blue. Took the ball in a tight spot and kept possession for his team, but now they've lost it. Livramento up to Voltemada, out to Elanga, middle of the United half. Good nutmeg from Elanga through the legs of Reinildo, back to Livramento, and Cher to Ramsdale, swept out to Hall, away from Traore, and now Hall, who can carry it, does it well. Gordon tries to go in behind, inviting ball from Lewis Hall. Gordon, got the control that he needed.
That wasn't good.
Goal kick for Sunderland. Gordon, heavy first touch, and that was the end of that attack, unfortunately, and he looks at the floor in frustration. Roofs, the Dutch under-21 international, left-footed, long goal kick. Chow gets behind Byrne, wins the header. Lefay on, Cher gets his head to the ball. Voltemada goes off in pursuit. Reinildo, not the best header backwards. Ballard to Roofs, backpedaling in the box, scoops it up. And Reinildo on, but Newcastle have got it covered. We're into the final minute of the minimum of 3. Could play on for longer, the referee, but there will be 3 minutes minimum. 0-0, back to Ramsdale, getting closed down. He's got to go. It's Cher. Look for Elanga. Straight at Reinildo instead. Siddiqui receives the ball from Xhaka. Now Talbi to Siddiqui. 30 seconds of the 3 minutes still to see out, still to play. Reinildo away from Elanga. Lefay onto Ballard, who's in the middle of Newcastle's half, the Sunderland centre-back. They come in off the right wing and then play it back out wide through Xhaka. It's a bouncing ball, which Traore brings down to the floor. Lefay. Xhaka out wide. The 3 minutes are up, and there's the referee's whistle for half-time. Sunderland reluctant to stick it into the box, and they ran out of time at the end of the first half. Newcastle have lost Dan Byrne to injury. They've not tested Robin Roofs at all. Probably their best moments have come when Sunderland have made mistakes, mainly through Omar Alderete, the centre-back. And the one really big moment they had, Elanga could have played Gordon in, he didn't. He rolled it to Voltemada, and he didn't see Gordon, who was completely free on the far side. And if they could have played it, he was one-on-one. It was potentially a big moment that they didn't get right. Sunderland with a lot of the ball, John Anderson, moving it well, but Aaron Ramsdale not tested either.
No, neither goalkeeper's been called upon to make a save. For all the ball that Sunderland have had, they haven't done a great deal with it. We need to be sharper, we need to be quicker in what we do. Hasn't been great, you know. There's been no intensity in the game at all. For a derby, you would have expected an awful lot more intensity, but there's been none of that whatsoever. It hasn't been great. 0-0's about right.
The graphics on the screens at the stadium, like say Sunderland 0, visitors 0. Newcastle don't even get a name check. I think the atmosphere has been decent at times, but probably both. I mean, the Sunderland fans haven't had. There's the Ballard header that was always missing the target, right at the back post, wide of the goal. They've not had any big moments to really get them fired up and noisy. Newcastle, it hasn't been the easiest watch. They've been a bit slow at times, been a bit sloppy. It's broken down a lot. It hasn't come together for them in a meaningful sense yet.
Yeah, look, we need to be better second half. I think you'll have a word at half time. You know, we haven't been sharp in what we've been doing. We've been slow, we've been pedestrian. And as I said, for all the ball that Sunderland have had, they haven't done a great deal with it. In fact, they've done absolutely nothing with it.
We're bringing you commentary from both perspectives on BBC Radio Newcastle, Newcastle United on FM and the BBC Sport website, and that second half to come. At the break, it's 0-0.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Ahead of the derby this weekend, we're live from the Red Lion pub in Bolton, where I'm joined by a load of Maghams and a load of Mags. Sunderland fan Rob told us how he's feeling.
Got full PMT, Matt. Absolutely bricking it.
And Newcastle fan Morris told us how he's feeling.
It'll be a classic. I want 3 things. I want a good game, nobody getting in trouble, and 3 points.
With your black and white, red and white, have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Monday with all the reaction.
Matt Bailey at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6. Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle.
And this is Simon Pride at the Stadium of Light, where the score at half-time is Sunderland 0, Newcastle United 0. There hasn't been a goalless draw in a derby for 35 years. Will the second half see the deadlock broken? Don't go anywhere. We will, of course, bring it to you. I've got Gary Bennett and John Anderson still with me. And for me, for a derby, I think the time always goes quickly and the half always rushes by. Even though in this case there wasn't a great deal of quality, I think it's just the tenseness and nervousness of the occasion. Benno, I don't think anyone as a neutral watching that will have deemed it as a classic, will they?
It's not a classic. I think you can see that there's still 1 or 2 nerves. I think, you know, when you look at Alderete a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, he's nearly been caught out, being a little bit sloppy. But then you look at Newcastle, they haven't really done, shall we say, going forward, they haven't really caused Sunderland a problem at all.
Would you agree with that, John Anderson? Because Newcastle have had moments when they've had decent areas of possession, but do you think they'll be a bit disappointed with the fact they haven't really created anything?
Yeah, I think we've been slow and we've been pedestrian in what we've done. I mean, for all the play and all the ball that Sunderland have had, they haven't done a great deal with it. They seem very, very reluctant to stick the ball in the penalty area. You know, they've knocked it about, they've been neat and they've been tidy, but Ramsdale still hasn't had a save to make, you know. So for whatever reason, they get in some real good areas and wide areas, but they just don't stick it in there. And look, chances have been few and far between. I think Eddie Howell will have a word at half time, because we've just been too pedestrian. There's been no intensity to the way that we played, and you'd want to see more intensity in the second half.
Dan Burn had to go off with the injury that he sustained. How big a blow is that, and how much will that affect the game?
I don't think it will. You know, you've got an experienced player in Fabian Schär coming on. It's not as if you're throwing a kid on there. You're playing somebody who's played an awful lot of football. He's played international football. So look, of course it's a blow to lose Dan Burn, especially with his height. But no, Schär will he'll sit in there, and we've seen him do it many a time, so not a problem at all.
What will the Sunderland team talk be at half-time, Benno?
I think Sunderland team talk will be, especially when around that 18-yard box. Let's put the ball in. You know, a couple of times that we've mentioned there with Talby, he got behind him, but we've got to say his final pass was a little bit too, shall we say, hard. He flew across the 18-yard box, and I just think we just need to put 1 or 2 more balls into the box when we get the opportunity to do that.
And in terms of the options Newcastle have on the bench, I guess the one that you look at, Ando, is Johan Wissa. We don't know how many minutes he's ready for, really, but you would expect, certainly the way that the first half has gone, to see Wissa at some point in this second half, wouldn't you?
I think he will, whether he gets another 20 minutes or not, or so, but you would expect to see him at some stage in the second half. I think he might change it on this right side as well, because Elanga, he's been sloppy again. You know, he's had his moments, but I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's a change on that right-hand side.
Ando, Benno, you're going to have a break this half-time. If you're listening at half-time and wondering why you've been listening to the wrong team's perspective in the first half, let me just remind you what you need for the second half, if that has been the case. Our Sunderland commentary with Barnsley and Benno is on DAB as well as Freeview and BBC Sounds. The Newcastle commentary is on FM and the BBC Sport website and app. If you want to get in touch, 08000 321 333 is the number to send us a WhatsApp message. Begin your message with the letters BBC. You can text 813 133. Again, starting with the letters BBC. Mark has been on. He thinks Brian Broby should have been sent off. He says there was a tackle on Miley which was late, high and studs up. Broby, of course, was booked. He was booked for waving an imaginary yellow card after he'd been found. He felt it was a bookable offence, and the referee took offence at that and so booked him. So what do you make of that first half? Do get in touch via those numbers, 08000 321 333 81333, and starting your message with the letters BBC. Let me tell you what else is happening in the Premier League this afternoon. Manchester City are leading Crystal Palace by 1-0 at half-time. Erling Haaland on 41 minutes for them. Nottingham Forest are playing Spurs. That was also a 2 o'clock kickoff. Callum Hudson-Odoi has scored the only goal of that first half, so Nottingham Forest lead Spurs by 1-0. And another 2 o'clock kickoff in the capital. West Ham United are leading Aston Villa by 2-1. Matheus Fernandes in the very first minute for the Hammers. An own goal from Mavropanos on 9 minutes. It was the equaliser for Villa. Jared Bowen scored for West Ham on 24, and so they lead by 2-1 at half-time. Brentford host Leeds in the 4:30 kickoff today, and it is St Mirren against Celtic in the Scottish League Cup final, a 3:30 kickoff today, as well as a Scottish Premiership match between Aberdeen and Kilmarnock, which is taking place later today as well. We'll bring you news later on as well of the scores in the Women's FA Cup third round. Durham, Newcastle and Sunderland all in action. Sunderland's match ongoing. Durham's and Newcastle's should be over by now. We'll try and bring you the scores of those. Can't find them right at the minute though. So we'll have the second half very shortly here. It's been a poignant day for Sunderland supporters. Prior to kick-off, there was a minute's applause for Gary Rowell, who has passed away at the age of 68. Gary Rowell, a bit of a legend at Sunderland Football Club, scored more than 100 goals for the club, scored a hat-trick in a derby as well. He's going to be sadly missed, and there was a fitting tribute. Sunderland fans and Newcastle fans alike applauding him, remembering him before this afternoon's kick-off. And I've been speaking to some Sunderland fans today, and they have been talking about their sadness at his passing and their memories of him playing.
I'm shocked. I had no idea that he was poorly. I mean, I've heard him a few times on the radio in the past, but that is a shock. It is a shock. I mean, the lad's a legend anyway.
His song will be sung in the ground as well.
Yes, definitely. Well, they'll be singing not just today, but in the future. You know, like to do with Kevin Phillips and other people. No, it's really sad. Really sad.
I mean, I think he was just a fantastic servant of the club, one of the greats. Really sad to hear about his passing. Really feel for his family at this time, obviously, and obviously a poignant day, Derby Day as well.
Yeah, he certainly had a history in the derby, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be looking down today, but I hope he is.
Well, growing up in the 70s, coming to Roker Park with my dad and seeing this guy up front called Gary Rowell, who just used to score every time we came, it was absolutely brilliant. And then what he did on Derby Day in 1979, which happens to be my birthday, so I always remember it, was absolutely brilliant. What a legend. Very sad at his passing. I mean, there'll be just so many choruses that we'll live in a Gary Rowell world, and I hope so as well, because it'll just be brilliant. But yeah, we should all be remembering a club legend today.
So I think today it'll be very emotive. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't do something last minute, you know. There'll be a minute's applause. The club will do something, I'm pretty sure.
All the fans around us, hopefully from the whole stadium really, both sides supporters all respect their best players, so show respect to the opponent's players as well. Hopefully
that'll be the case. I'm sure it will be. He was a fantastic player, but also somebody who was a red and white through and through, wasn't he? Which I think just adds to the adoration that he has from fans here.
He's won a ball one, you know. So I think, like you said, there's going to be an outpouring today. I think a lot of emotion. Obviously, with it being the derby as well, there'll be plenty of that, but just kind of adds a little extra level.
Yeah, and Gary Rowell was remembered and respected prior to the kick-off. Those were some fans to whom I spoke before the match this afternoon. The substitutes of both teams are going through the warm-up motions on the pitch in front of me. Obviously one substitute has already been used out of necessity because Dan Burns' injury meant that Fabian Schär has come on for Newcastle, but strong benches for both sides, so it remains to be seen what the two head coaches decide in terms of potential replacements in the second half. I promised you news of the Women's FA Cup. I have news of it for you. Durham were beaten 1-0 at home by Sheffield United, and they had a penalty saved in the 95th minute as well, Durham, in that one. More straightforward for Newcastle, who were expected to beat Liverpool Feds, did so 4-0 at home. And it's going well for Sunderland as well, because at half-time they lead Derby County by 3-1. So those are the latest scores from the Women's FA Cup. I did have a plan to spend quite a lot of half-time playing you back the highlights of the first half. There weren't a great deal, so yeah, Colin putting them together back in the studios had his work cut out, but there are a few. So let me remind you one more time, just in case you have just switched on and you want to hear your particular commentary. Let me remind you that if you want to hear Razor and Ando with the Newcastle perspective, that is on FM and the BBC Sport website and app for Barnsley, and Benno and the Sunderland perspective you can listen on DAB and Freeview and the BBC Sounds as well. So 3 places for you to listen to that commentary. It is nicely poised. It's been a nervy first half. It's been lacking in quality. There haven't been any goals. As I say, the last time there was a goalless draw between those sides was back in 1990 when Benno and Ando were both playing. So you would expect there to be at least more goalmouth action in this second half. We will find out very shortly.
Half-time highlights.
Total Sport Northeast.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Sadiki now coming up to the halfway line and leaves it for Xhaka. Through to Lefay. Out wide, or Talby, sorry, out wide to Reinildo, looking for the run of Talby into the penalty area on the left. He crosses.
He's got to be better.
There's nobody there. It's too deep. Broby was in the 6-yard box.
Elanga, Gordon's free on the far side. Voltemada, can he play it? Voltemada inside looking for the run of Elanga, but he needed to switch it to Gordon, who is going absolutely mad. Elanga could have played it first time. They went up the line to Voltemada, and I don't know if they just didn't see Gordon, but he's in if the ball is played.
Yeah, Mukele then, this is going to be a long throw into the Newcastle penalty area. At the edge of the 6-yard box. It drops here for Alderete, and he swings it across the face of the goal and out for a throw on the far side.
Total Sport Northeast.
Matthew Raisbeck and black and white legend John Anderson.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Highlights from the first half.
There wasn't too many of them, was there?
That just shows the lack of big moments, big chances. One big moment, John Anderson, 0-0 at the Stadium of Light. Dan Burn off, Fabian Schär on, Malik Chow's gone to left centre-back, Schär to the right. Newcastle are out ready for the second half, waiting on Sunderland. Maybe Burn could have come off straight away. There was no intention in the challenge to hurt him.
No.
But he took a knee to the chest, to the rib cage, came back on, but was unable to continue more than a couple of minutes.
You just hope he's okay, don't you? It was one of those where both of them slid in from a distance. Didn't catch him with the studs of that. He had his knees bent. Looks like he caught him with his knee in the chest, the rib area. As I say, you just hope the big man's all right.
Sunderland are here. We're just checking to see whether there are any half-time changes for either team. Newcastle, no, it'll be Ramsdale, Livramento, Schär, Chow, Hall, Miley, who's now on the right side of the midfield three, Tanali in the middle, Bruno on the left, so positional shift there in midfield. Elanga right wing, Gordon left wing, Voltemada up front. Sunderland, same again, Roofs in goal, Mukiele, Ballard, Alderete, Reinildo, Sadiki, Xhaka, Traore, Lefay, Talby, Broby up front. Alderete gave Newcastle chances, or kept giving the ball back to them, sometimes in dangerous areas of the pitch, and they didn't really punish Sunderland. Well, they didn't punish Sunderland for it. Here's a long ball into the box, straight from the Sunderland kick-off, and Traore now on the right wing. Newcastle wearing their blue and orange away kit, shooting towards the left where the away fans are at the top tier. Traore now crosses straight at Chow, who puts it out on the near side. 30 seconds of the second half, and Sunderland win themselves a throw. Remember, if you want the red and white coverage from Nick Barnes and Gary Bennett, we've split our frequencies to bring you the game from both perspectives. Freeview channel 711, BBC Sounds app, or BBC Radio Newcastle on DAB for a red and white angle. Mukiele's long throw into the 6-yard box. Chow with an important header. Gordon flicks it, but it comes to Xhaka 30 yards out. Mukiele curls one in. Oh, Voltemade! An own goal! Voltemade scored an own goal! Unbelievable. Mukiele's curled delivery, and Voltemade went to head it, and he's put it into his own net. The Stadium of Light erupts. Newcastle United and Nick Voltemade are absolutely stunned. And for the second time this week, Aaron Ramsdale is beaten by an own goal. He might have got something on that. It may have come off the bar. Mukiele's delivery, and Voltemade, well, he's here for towering headers, but bits at the wrong end and into his own net. Oh dear.
Well, someone think I set the Friday at half-time. For whatever reason, Sunderland were reluctant on that first half to stick crosses in the box. They got in some great areas and wouldn't stick it in there. Then a minute into the second half, it's a great delivery. It's into a good area. He can't leave it. Ramsdale's got no chance. Comes off the underside of the crossbar.
I cannot believe what I've just seen. I mean, technically, it's a brilliant header. But it's into his own net, off the bar. Ramsdale didn't get a touch. It came off the bar. There was Broby at the back post. There were other players in the middle. Newcastle did have other defenders around it. What an utterly bizarre thing to happen.
You feel for him. You really do, because he's back there defending a set piece. I don't think he can leave that. I think he's got to go and try and play it.
Sunderland throw at right back. Well, set piece, but a second ball in from a set piece rather than the first one in. Cross into the box though, and Newcastle are behind. It's interesting that Newcastle had lost more points from winning positions this season. Sunderland had gained the most in the Premier League. Need that to be reversed. Need Newcastle to come from behind and Sunderland to let it slip. Share with the ball, trying to get Elanga in. Clever idea, but easy enough for Roops. Edge of the box. Ball is on the floor. Sunderland's penalty area with the goalkeeper. Voltemade closing down. Roofs flips it into the United half. Chow away and out. They've not had much change out of Malik Chow today. Not many people do get the better of him. Here's Xhaka, laid off by Talbi, and Xhaka over halfway to Reynildo. Sadiki, wide left, twisting and turning. Cher concedes a throw. Sadiki waves his arms at the Sunderland fans who climb out of their seats and give him plenty of encouragement. I'm a bit lost for words because, I mean, if you had a Derby Day bingo card, you would not have Nick Voltemade own goal heading it in from a Sunderland cross off his own crossbar on it.
Yeah.
It's just very strange. Sunderland long throw. Chow heads it back out to the far side. Mukiele, who delivered the ball from the other side, now gets a better angle. Fancies a shot maybe. Thought better of it. Laid off to Siddiqui. LeFay's delivery. Chow. Who else? Gordon. Oh, he's tried to flick it. And a challenge from Tonali, edge of the area. Gordon away this time. Just clears Newcastle's lines. And Eddie Howe waving his players into position. Roof's on the right. Broby beats Share. Sunderland in front and on top. Laid off back to Xhaka. 30 to 35 yards out. Comes to the right. Protects the ball. Rarely gives it away. 52 minutes now. The goal from own goal from Baltimore to give Sunderland the lead on 46. LeFay, drop of the shoulder. Broby tries to lay it off. In fact, it was Talby with the run from wide left. Elanga's given it away again. Elanga, that's cheap. Sunderland cross from the far side. Lewis Hall comes into the middle to head clear. Baltimore trying to get there before Alderete, but he can't. Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall having a long conversation as Sunderland get in on the left side, and it's got to be cleared, and Chow in the 6-yard box. Scrambles it out of play. They've got to make sure that 1-0 doesn't become 2-0 because Sunderland have got Newcastle on the ropes here. And twice Shemsky and Talby starting too easily on the funny side. But Newcastle not helping matters by not keeping the ball.
Well, just keep giving it away. Spoke about it at half time. You know, we weren't intense enough in that first half. Our ball retention was poor. And it's continued again.
Headed out by Alderete as he went to meet the throw to the near post. Goal kick. Ramsdale to our right-hand side. Eddie Howe sent Jacob Murphy, Harvey Barnes and Jan Wissa to warm up. Baltimore beaten in the air by Mukiele. Sunderland have certainly shown a lot of desire and a lot of confidence in their play, and in that sense they've had the edge this afternoon as well as dominating possession. Miley looking for Elanga, who's managed to roll his man, but Xhaka comes across and concedes a throw just past halfway on the far side, with Sunderland leading 1-0. Livramento, second ball on the pitch, is now cleared, and Livramento throw back to Cher. Malik Chow back inside to Fabian Cher. Back across to Chow. Gordon keeping width about Newcastle's play on the near side. Comes to receive it from Hall. Gordon, drop of the shoulder, inside. They've let it run for Bruno. And now Miley to Tonali. Over it goes to Livramento on the right wing for Elanga as Livramento goes on the outside. In it comes to Miley, wide to Livramento, back to Tonali. First time, Tonali's cross is flat, and Sunderland are able to get 2 touches on the ball and bring it away. They look for Broby, who's tripped by Chow at the front of the centre circle.
Got away with it.
No yellow card, but a free kick.
They got away with it. They had a break on there as well.
Minutes played. When it's like this, after the farcical own goal to give Sunderland the lead, as they prepare for the free kick to be launched by Roots to the edge of the area, Chow wins a header to clear it. LeFay into the box. Chow covering Sunderland with Ballard throwing himself to the floor. Good form for that. Fabian Cher tells him where to go. As Ballard comes chasing after the referee, Newcastle restart the game. They've got to make sure, even if they can't find an equaliser yet, whether it'll come or not, who knows, that it doesn't go to 2-0. They've got to make sure that this doesn't get worse. While the crowd are noisier Sunderland are on top on the pitch.
Yeah, they've started the second half better, there's no doubt about that.
Hall in central midfield, it's a good run, a layoff to Bruno, but Sunderland close off the spaces. Newcastle find Elanga on the right wing. Bruno back to Elanga, heavy touch. To be fair to Elanga, it was a hard ball to control the way it was fired at him. And Lefay on his way. Tenali's got back and Lefay's pulled him down. And Sunderland get away with that challenge. It's only a free kick, not a yellow card. Jacob Murphy is ready, and I'm certain Elanga will be the player to be replaced.
Yeah,
because it just hasn't happened. Barnes is coming. Is that Willock? Ramsey and Wissa continue to warm up. Going to be a triple change from Eddie Howe, and they've got to respond. They've got to do something. Been behind for 10 minutes. Baltimore with an own goal that I just cannot believe. Chow. Oh, what a ping from Chow. Elanga. Chance to deliver. Takes the touch. Sends in the cross, but it's headed away by the first defender, Alderete, and then Cher back in behind, but Reynildo comes to head. And Lefay here in midfield. His first touch not the best, but Newcastle have failed to win it back. And now Tenali penalised and gets a yellow card for pulling Broby down.
I'm pleased you didn't see that run. Talby was free on that right hand side. If he had played it, decides to run with it, Tenali pulls him down, gets a yellow card for it.
Barnes, Murphy, Willock are ready. Looks like the free kick will be sent forwards first. They will not be the last of the changes from Eddie Howe, but they've already made one with Dan Burn going off, so they are limited in that respect. Miley, good header away from the free kick, and Gordon now trying to use his speed to get away, and he does, but there's not much up ahead. Gordon sent sprawling by Reynildo, who gets a yellow card. Gordon, it's a great run to get Newcastle from one end of the pitch towards the other, and Reynildo booked. Kane sliding, flying in.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, you need to make sure you get the ball, because if you don't, you're going to pick up a yellow card, and that's exactly what's happened.
Sunderland 1, Newcastle 0. A Baltimore own goal. He headed in, a great ball in from Mukiele. Gordon off, replaced by Barnes. Murphy for Elanga. And Willock.
Be Miley.
For Tenali. He's not been at his best in recent weeks, Sandro Tenali. Joe Willock started against Burnley last week, and I think we were in agreement, John Anderson, that he played well and was unlucky to be brought off.
Yeah.
And then we didn't see him at all the other night.
Yeah, I mean, the changes are all like for like, aren't they?
Hall's free kick to the edge of the area. Roofs comes. He's come from his goal line to the 18-yard line just about. And put the ball out of the sky.
Good goalkeeping.
And now he says he's hurt. Collided with Chow a couple of times. Just banged heads, and then Chow gave him a bit of a squeeze on the way past. But these are like-for-like changes. We've played an hour. Newcastle are losing. What are Murphy, Barnes and Willock? What will they give them that perhaps they haven't had? As Sunderland into the penalty area. Hall with a header.
Hopefully a bit more intensity, because that intensity just hasn't been there today. We've been laboured in what we've done.
Ramsdale gets it restarted quickly with a short ball to his left to Chow. Well, they're going to have to turn it around in half an hour. if they're going to score, they're going to have a shot, because they've created nothing all afternoon. Barnes, first couple of touches, back to Hall. Share looking for Barnes on the diagonal, trying to get it in behind Mukiele. He has. Barnes has brought it down. Willock, edge of the area. Newcastle on the attack, close to the penalty box now, but out wide. Barnes dispossessed by Xhaka. His clearance straight onto the chest of Bruno, who tries to make his way into the box, but it's Lefay who gets back. Sunderland clear. Ramsdale's come a long way out, tries to give himself time, and that's well dealt with, well defended by Ramsdale. Into Chow, who goes back to the keeper on the edge of the area.
Did well, Ramsdale, didn't he?
Didn't panic.
No.
And had a good look at everything that was around. Baltimore, only one goal in his last 9 for Newcastle. At the right end, the own goal so far. And that's what separates the teams. In the 62nd minute, Bruno, Hall, edge of the area, finds another blue shirt. It's Willock who cuts inside and squares it to Bruno. It's on his left. Bruno bringing it out wide, and it's an effort on target. Back pass, but it's one of the easiest saves Roofs will make because it had no power. But at least Newcastle have had a shot. I mean, Sunderland haven't. They lead through an own goal. Space in midfield for Lefay, who plays it over to the far side. Livramento takes a touch and gives it back to Ramsdale, sends him away from his goal, and Malik Chow at the edge of the area. Share with Livramento making his way up the line. Might have been the ball to play, but they've gone to Miley. And now Livramento gets it. We talk about the play being too slow. Yeah. That could have gone 5 seconds earlier when Livramento had more space. And they might create something from this, but it's easier for Sunderland to defend against if they walk it to halfway and then play the pass they could have played earlier. Barnes. Curling ball. It's not a bad one, but Roofs gathers because nobody made the run and gambled to get on the end of it.
Yeah, easy take for the keeper again, wasn't it?
Fabian Schär wins the header from Broby. Mukiele's header, Siddiqui backwards. Baltimore trying to chase Alderete, who's not made any mistakes in the second half. Livramento heads on, and it goes backwards from Sunderland. But then Siddiqui lifts it around Miley. And Livramento tries to intercept but slips. Schär away to Willock, back to Bruno, drops his shoulder, and Miley to come forwards with it. 3 Newcastle players in the Sunderland half, and red and white shirts getting back. Lewis Hall makes a move into space on the near side, but again the play is so slow. No intensity about it at all. Players having 3, 4, 5 touches in many cases before moving it on. And Sunderland got everybody back and they get set. Bruno picks up some space, tries to thread it through, and Murphy just can't get there. But that's a bit better.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst ball in the world, was it? Good run by Murphy.
He looked like he gave up on it a little bit, Murphy. He might have backed himself. He could have potentially got there. Sunderland lead 1-0. It's Newcastle having a little bit of a spell with the ball after a triple change. And a substitution enforced in the first half. Down Burnoff. Bruno away from Xhaka. Up the line, Livramento. Voltemada wants it played into the middle. Murphy gets it just outside the area. Barnes for Willock. Oh, the ball from Barnes was short. And then Murphy's pinched it back. Willock might be offside. Sunderland clear. It's out for a throw.
Alderete's the one to play on. He'll give you a chance. He keeps taking chances.
Bruno to Livramento on the far touchline. Back inside to Bruno, 30 yards from Roofs in the Sunderland goal. Willock has come to support Bruno, passes it on to Chow. Hall wide left, closed down quickly. His options are only inside Lewis Hall. It's back to Chow, and Bruno here's got Cher square, who could play in. Fabian Cher, I'm sure, would fancy a crack. It's instead Murphy, and it's an easy catch for Roos. Gave Voltemada and others in the middle no chance. Rolled out to Xhaka. Reynildo up the Sunderland left wing. Broby and Cher. I don't know who's holding who. Sunderland have the ball with Talby. Livramento. It's kept in by Cher after Livramento won it back. And Ramsdale now. Sunderland 1-0. Eddie Howe waving Newcastle players forwards. Hall trying to get up as much as he can. Willock comes inside, but the space is wide, and Bruno's now going to curl it over to Livramento. Nice first touch, then stops the ball, brings it down, plays it back inside to Bruno. Sunderland have everybody back. Bruno, Miley tried to let it run, and Reynildo blocked it with Murphy behind him. The clearance from Sunderland
get out though, can they?
Hit Miley, and it's collected by Cher, but Newcastle can't really get in behind. And but for that effort from Bruno that lacked power, Roos has had nothing to save all afternoon. Midway through the second half, Willock as Barnes makes the forward run, but it goes square to Hall on the left wing. Now Barnes receives it, possibly the chance to run. He goes on the outside of Traore. Decent ball crossed in. Bruno edge of the area in the D. Bruno Guimaraes. And Roof pats it down as he dives towards his left post.
No power in it, was it?
It's another attempt on target, both from Bruno. It's a more difficult save than the last one, but still comfortable for the Sunderland goalkeeper. They've got two players ready to come on, but Newcastle win it back from Broby. They're on, I don't want to say they're on top, but they're having a decent spell. Murphy through the middle. Murphy's pass behind Hall, but it does come to Barnes. It's a packed penalty area. Barnes rides a couple of challenges. Fabian Cher, who's got to hit it. Fabian Cher. Oh, it's blocked in the middle. It was travelling towards goal. It's going to be a corner. Alderete's taken the full force of that. Fabian Cher with a powerfully struck shot. Probably going wide, looking from one replay. Sunderland with Trey Hume, the fullback, and Wilson Isidore, the striker, ready to come on. They lead 1-0 through a weird own goal from Voltemada. Newcastle have a corner. Bruno, out swinger, headed away. Back out to Bruno. At least they kept a couple of players at the back post, even if they didn't get it. Bruno now to Miley, who's held it well under pressure. He could deliver, Miley, which he does. It's deep. Fabian Cher goes for it, but Sunderland head it behind. They've got a corner on the left, Newcastle.
Yeah, better. A bit more intensity about it.
Régis Lebris isn't making the changes yet. They're waiting to come on, those two. Johan Wissa still warming up for Newcastle. Lewis Miley with this corner kick. Back post, easy for Roos. Easy for Roos.
Middle of the goal. Like plucking cherries, isn't it?
Overarm throw from the keeper. Livramento had a good starting position and watches it out. Sunderland double change. Bertrand Traore replaced by Trey Hume, and Brian Broby goes off. Wilson Isidore is his replacement. Give us a perspective, John Anderson, on how they can turn this around with 20 minutes to go.
It's got to be better. You know, I said it at half-time, the intensity in our play just isn't there. We've had a spell where we've had the ball. Bruno's had a couple of strikes at goal. But it's been comfortable for the keeper, hasn't it?
Back to Ramsdale looking for Voltemada. He's not really won anything in the air all afternoon apart from the own goal. Sunderland, Lefay down. Newcastle allowed to play on. Barnes for Willock. Lefay gets back up. Joe Willock has got 2 on him, knocks it around Ballard, and then it's played by Mukiele off Willock, and it's the throw. And Mukiele with a big grin interacts with the crowd. He's going to take the throw. Sunderland win it on halfway, but Hume's pass is blocked and it's out off Hall. Johan Wissa comes back to the bench. Coming on. It's time for Wissa. It's going to get around 20 minutes. Chow is all over Isidore. Lefay for Isidore, flicks it to Hume. Trey Hume tries to pick somebody out. Newcastle block it. Bruno had to get there to stop Hume's cross, reaching red and white in the middle. Lefay still on the right wing, scooped up by Hume, but he's got that wrong and it's gone out. Hall away. Voltemada tries to climb and win, but Ballard had a couple of yards behind him and completed the header. Now Alderete into the box to Isidore. Ramsdale down by his near post to push it behind. Sunderland with their first effort on target from a player in red and white.
Good strike. Angle was tight. Ramsdale just beats it away.
Xhaka, the corner kick taker, left-footed in swinger, near side. Ramsdale does well to come off his line and push it away. Bruno there lifts it up. It doesn't go away though. He's taken a risk, Bruno, but he's managed to get the ball further clear with a header. Reynildo on halfway, back to Roofs, close to the D. 74th minute, Sunderland 1-0 ahead still. Miley, his header's gone backwards. Chow to Bruno, who's also headed it backwards, and Isidore gets the better of Willock, who recovered well. Back to Ramsdale it goes. Quick overarm throw from Ramsdale. Johan Wissa, hands on hips, ready to be introduced. You'd expect it to be for Voltemada in a like-for-like change. Unless he takes off a midfielder, which he could do. But here's Hall for Willock. Voltemada could run in behind. He's trying to get there. Willock's pass. Ballard defended it successfully. And Xhaka into the box to Alderete. Xhaka long ball. Cher has time and has support from Murphy, and then back to Cher. There's no doubt about it. They have the lead through an own goal. Sunderland have been the better team. They've had more intensity, they've had more desire. Newcastle looking for Barnes here, gave Ballard a push, and it's clear as day. Ballard was winning the header anyway. Wissa comes on for Voltemada, so no change of system. And he sprints off, and he probably just wants to get out of here as quickly as he can after that own goal.
It's unlucky. Yeah, you know, he's really, really unlucky. He's unfortunate for the old team.
Chance for Johan Wissa on his third Newcastle United appearance to become an instant hero, really. Waited 3 months to play because of injury. they really need something, because it hasn't been good enough. You can't really compliment them on any part of their performance, can you?
No.
It's been a long way short of what's required.
They haven't been good at all.
Share in behind for Livramento, but Reinildo covers. Alderete away. Newcastle throw on a halfway line. Share back to Chow. On his thigh, centre of the United half. Plenty of goals elsewhere. Forest 3, Spurs 0. Manchester City away to Crystal Palace. They got a second, didn't they, City?
Yeah, Phil Foden.
2-0 ahead. Still got quarter of an hour. Hall comes into the midfield to receive the ball and play it to Bruno. Well, he's trying to make things happen. Newcastle just can't get through Sunderland. They've barely not been in behind them at all. It's also West Ham 2, Aston Villa 2. Latest score from the London Stadium. Willock back to Barnes. Chow for Share. Miley. Livramento made a good run, but they've instead got Bruno here. Inside to Murphy. Jacob Murphy lifts it up. Harvey Barnes near post. Could that be a corner? Yeah. Went behind off Ballard.
Better.
Corner on the right-hand side. I mean, I don't think Barnes was scoring from that sort of position, but Ballard had to take action.
Tracked them back in there.
They've had their problems defending set pieces. Let's see if they can score from one, Newcastle, and get a much-needed equaliser on a day when they've been well short. Near post, headed away by Mukiele. Bruno back in and over the top. It goes on, and at 0-0 the harder it is to see, in my view. I don't know if you agree. A Newcastle equaliser, not least because of how they've played. It's not that they're not trying, but they're not able to get through, create anything. It's not coming together, even when they've had attacks and spells in the final third in the Sunderland half. Hall away. Wissa trying to get his first touch, brings it down, cleared by Mukiele. Chow climbing over Isidore to head clear. Hume under pressure, back to Xhaka. Ballard for the goalkeeper. They've got an entirely new front three from the one they started with. Roofs rolls it to Xhaka. Never troubled Granit Xhaka. Square pass to the left.
Good player, isn't he? He's controlled that midfield.
Aston Villa come back through Morgan Rogers and lead 3-2 at West Ham now. That's what Newcastle need to do. They need to come from behind. Roofs. Share to Livramento. Murphy. Plenty of space for Jacob Murphy on his way up the right wing. Wissa in the middle. Murphy. Ooh, deflected Wissa! Oh, just couldn't get there. Whoa, Roofs claims in the centre of the 6-yard box. Murphy's cross
takes a huge deflection.
Massive deflection.
Looks like
Wissa
it's
get a touch
straight into his path.
Oh, he's full
unlucky.
stretch. And of course, the irony is that that's the perfect ball for Voltemada at 6'7". That full stretch probably would have got his studs on the ball, whereas Wissa just couldn't get there, couldn't stretch out far enough. Very close. And Roofs held on as if he always had it under control, but that deflection nearly had Sunderland in bother. They lead 1-0 through a Nick Voltemada own goal that he headed off his own bar past Aaron Ramsdale in the first minute of the second half. We're now in the 81st minute, and Lewis Hall, looking for Harvey Barnes, has played it out of play because Barnes was going forwards, the ball was behind him, and a breakdown in communication and whatever else. And a Sunderland throw on halfway. BBC Radio Newcastle. We've got a phone in after the match. At the minute, it's going to be a joyous red and white affair. Ando will be there too. You never know, it might change. Give us a ring now, 0800 234 6565. Share over to Barnes, just ahead of halfway, on to Willock, now Hall, who's picking up positions in the centre, and Sunderland have left Murphy free. Hall finds him, brought under control by Murphy, looks for space for the cross, can't find it, back to Bruno, dropping his shoulder, trying to lift it in behind for Murphy. Sunderland with a header, and then another one, and now they can counter-attack. Lefay down under the challenge of Cher. Free kick. No yellow card, despite pleas from home supporters. Sunderland bringing on winger Romain Mundle for Shamsdeen Talbot. Joe Willock trying to get Talbot off the pitch quickly. The Moroccan international is on his way off. Mundle's just back from a hamstring injury. Former Spurs Academy player. They're going to equalise. Newcastle are going to have to score late. We're now in the 83rd minute. If they're going to win it, they're going to have to score even later. And I'm not sure that the nearly the 2,500 away fans will hold much belief. I'm not sure whether you do, but there is still a bit of time. Barnes with a clearance. Willock chasing Xhaka, his former Arsenal colleague, back to Reinildo. They've just managed it well, haven't they? Tactically, physically, and in terms of mentality. Sunderland. Here's Hall, comes away from a couple of challenges. Sunderland get a throw. Hall wants a free kick.
Hasn't been as fussy today, has he?
When you probably want him to be. Peter Banks, the referee. Mukiele's throw. Bruno header away, edge of the box. Wissa climbs, can't get there. Bruno lifts his boot up in the box, then heads it away. Hall on. Mukiele with a header. Hume inside. Mukiele away from Bruno and Barnes. Nordy Mukiele. Corner. Chow defended it. Oh, goal kick. I don't know how they missed that.
I don't know how they missed it either. Thankfully he did.
Bruno wanted it short. Ramsdale plays it to the left to Fabian Schär. 6 minutes of normal time remaining. Sunderland 9 unbeaten against Newcastle, their longest league run. This is league matches without defeat in the derby. And they lead 1-0, so that 9 could become 10. Murphy just outside the box, didn't have the chance to shoot. Miley might, blocked. Oh, now it's come for Isidore, running through the centre. Blue shirts getting back. Isidore over, hits the through ball. Ramsdale picks up, throws it out quickly to Chow. It's going to get stretched, but they're going to have to take chances, otherwise they're going to lose. Oh, Sunderland headers come straight to Willock. Back to Bruno, 30 yards out. Bruno eased off it by Mukiele, who's been everywhere. Up with Xhaka, probably Sunderland's man of the match. Miley, Newcastle slow it down. Right wing, inside to Bruno. Wissa in the middle wanting it. Murphy out to Livramento. Back to Bruno. It's been tackled, just ran into players in red and white. Now they clear straight at Livramento. Chow in the middle, but the very centre of Sunderland's half, a long way from the goal really. Livramento on to Murphy. 4.5 minutes of normal time left. Murphy's cross, back post, headed away by Sunderland. Will it run for a corner? It does. It will. Willock, why don't they take... Oh, there's 2 balls on the pitch. A deliberate tactic, I reckon, from Sunderland, because it's not the first time it's happened. Yellow card for that exact offence for Enzo Lefebvre. Miley with a corner. Sunderland header. Murphy gets after it. Lets it run for a throw. Back in play to Livramento. Murphy out wide. Comes in off the right flank. Bruno. Flicked it on. Sunderland clear. It was a quick ball up the pitch. Isidore was close, but not getting there. Ramsdale to share. Sunderland will go 4 points ahead of Newcastle in the table if they hold on and win. Joe Willock trying to find the equaliser. Barnes. Hall is ahead of him. Barnes sends over a cross. Murphy, that's a push. Free kick. Why? It's a clear push on Ronaldo, and the referee's given the free kick. It's hard to see it now, isn't it, John Anderson? But to be fair, it's been hard to see.
They haven't done enough, have they?
No, but not across 90 minutes. And they're going to get a lot of criticism for this performance, even if they somehow scramble in an equaliser or better, which is even more unlikely. Great, but for their performance, and criticised in a way that this team probably hasn't been over the last few years, because Sunderland have just wanted it more.
Yeah.
And they can play badly, which they have, but they just haven't been at it at all. There's been no intensity, and they've lacked the desire, and that's when they're at their best, and that's been absent today.
Yeah, I mean, I've said on many an occasion, we can't drop that intensity. We're not good enough to drop the intensity. We need to be at it all the time, and we haven't been today.
89th minute, Newcastle throw at left back. Man City have gone 3-0 up at Crystal Palace. Haaland with a penalty. Newcastle played across the penalty box, then back over to the near side of their box. Stewards and security staff moving in position around the away end. They will be held back a little bit, the Newcastle fans, but I'm sure will make their feelings known at full time. Share to Chow. If they get an equaliser, they won't deserve it. Wonder how long will be added. Might not matter the way they've played. Bruno to Share. Murphy gets it. Comes in side, away from Mundle, the substitute. Share up to Bruno. It's a heavy touch that goes backwards, and here's Mundle, fresh legs, or he's forgotten to take the ball with him. And Bruno regains possession for Newcastle. Lewis Hall, who's done as much as anyone to try to make something in the attack happen. Willock sums up their afternoon. Joe Willock slices across behind off his left boot from near the goal line. Sunderland have a goal kick, and there's 25 seconds of normal time remaining, and the home team are 1-0 up. Nick Voltemada with an own goal that you just couldn't believe in the first minute of the second half. Four minutes is all that's added. We often see, and it's something between 5 and 10. 4 minutes now. We're into the added time, 15 seconds into it. It's all Newcastle have to get an equaliser. Don't bet on it. Lefay on the right wing. Turns away from Hall. Plays it through Hall's legs. Humes cut back. Murphy is there, but there's only Wissa ahead of him, and now Barnes as Murphy comes inside and tries to play it to Barnes, but hits it straight at Granit Xhaka, who for probably the first time today has misplaced a pass. It's out for a throw. BBC Radio Newcastle, phone in to come on 0800 234 6565. We would very much like your views on this shared diagonal ball, looking for Wissa and Barnes. It's a Sunderland header in the box, then a Sunderland clearance, then Isidore on, but nobody there in red and white. 91 minutes 20 seconds, still 2.5 plus to play. Sunderland 1-0 up. Livramento to Murphy, taking on his man Mundle. Murphy on the outside, blocked cross, corner kick. Hall sprints over to the far side, and he will take the corner. Eddie Howe staring at the floor, looking away from the action. He needs something here. Newcastle supporters, the team needs something in the derby. Staring at defeat. Hall's delivery into the 6-yard box. It's a good one, actually. Sunderland deal with it. They've got a player down who gets back up. Then a header clear as Livramento sends it forwards. Now Willock making a run. Roofs collides with Willock, and Sunderland get a free kick. And for some reason, Sunderland players go after Joe Willock, who didn't seem to do anything deliberate in the direction of Roofs, and Fabian Schär getting involved in some argy-bargy. 93rd minute. Now police stand around the perimeter of the pitch. We might have about a minute and a half of action. Oh, it's kicking off in the centre of the pitch now. Isidore has enraged Malik Chow. Didn't see any coming together, just saw players from both teams sprinting towards them. Livramento holding Isidore back. VAR might need to have a look. There's been a yellow card there for Bruno, I think. And a yellow, might be more yellow cards. Sunderland lead 1-0. Everyone losing their tempers. Joe Willock's going to get booked. Wilson Isidore might be next. Referee walks towards him. And Isidore is yellow carded. And Malik Chow is also yellow carded. Anyone left? There's 4 bookings. To a 5th minute of added on time. Is Roofs, the goalkeeper, going to get a yellow card here? Referee's called him towards him. No. Called him over and now sent him back. Peter Banks puts his notebook in the pocket. There's still a minute and a half to play. There's kicking off again. Xhaka and Schär. Referee wants a word now with Bruno and Mukiele. He wants Xhaka, does he? Both captains. Granit Xhaka's got something in his hand. I don't know if it's a note or a bandage. It's a bit of cotton wool. He's obviously got a cut. He's going to have to go off, isn't he? It's clearly blood. That's what the referee wanted to sort out. Well, we've played 96 minutes. There's surely going to have to be a minute and a half, because they've lost the opportunity to play that because of all of the pushing and shoving. Sunderland 1-0 up. Xhaka off. He'll be off for about 30 seconds. Livramento header. Willock's got it. It's got to be now or never for Newcastle. Wide right with Murphy. He's going to carry it and roll it to Livramento. Comes back inside to Bruno. Sunderland dropping deep. Xhaka wants to come back on. Cher back to Bruno and Livramento. Ball's going square from Newcastle. It's got to go forwards. Xhaka waved on. Murphy into the middle. Sunderland header. Hall into the box. Cher trying to get it. Johan Wissa after it. Wissa wants a corner. It's a goal kick. Sunderland very nearly there. Match hasn't restarted. Roof's going to take his time over the goal kick. And perhaps after it's sent forwards, or maybe not too much beyond that, the roof will come off the Stadium of Light to herald a Sunderland win in the derby. If he ever manages to take the goal kick, that is. Referee's pointing at his wrist, perhaps implying he's going to add the time on. Chow with a header. Bruno's got to go forwards. Mundell back into the Newcastle half. Hall's won it. Then Hall challenged by Hugh. The throw. Back to Ramsdale. One last shot at this. Or maybe not. Not. It's an absolutely dreadful derby day performance from Newcastle United. A disaster at the Stadium of Light. A team that has delivered and brought so much. Champions League football twice, 2 trips to Wembley and 1 trophy, has failed to turn up at the Stadium of Light, and it is one of the worst performances. It lacked intensity, lacked desire, lacked quality from the team that Eddie Howe has built, and they are going to get as much criticism for this as they've had at any point in the last 4 years, and it is deserved, unfortunately. They were second best all afternoon, really, even when it was 0-0 in the first half and it wasn't a great game. And then after the bizarre, weird, unfortunate own goal header from Baltamada that settled the match in the first minute of the second half, they tried to come back into it, but they couldn't find a way. Nothing worked, and it's Sunderland's time to celebrate as their great start to life back in the Premier League continues with a win in the match that matters most in North East football, the Tyne Wear or Wear Tyne derby. And it's all very well playing big games in the Cup and in the Champions League, but when it comes to the derby, you've got to turn up, and they didn't today, John Anderson, and Sunderland have won by a goal to 0, deservedly so.
No, they didn't turn up, didn't play well, no intensity, didn't win the 50-50s, didn't win the individual battles. Sunderland are worthy winners. You know, you would say they deserve it. They were the better side on the day. Sometimes you've just got to hold your hands up and admit it.
I'm sure Eddie Howe will when he does his interviews, and will bring some reaction to you before 5 on BBC Radio Newcastle. But look, there is so much love and affection for this team who applauded the away fans and are on their way off the pitch, but it's very hard to defend and in some ways to explain what we've witnessed today.
Well, it was a poor performance, there's no doubt about it. we've spoke about our away form all season. We've only had the one away win all season. That was at Everton. But that was on a par with West Ham and Brentford today, the way we played. There was nobody who comes out of that well today. And as I say, best side won on the day.
You expect maybe derbies not to be the best games that you'll watch. Often they don't have quality. We expect more than a couple of weak shots on target, don't you?
Oh, look,
creating chances. They just didn't do it.
Enough. We never looked like scoring. Bruno's had a couple of shots. Well, I'm saying there were shots. They were comfortable saves for the keeper. But we never created anything at all today. We never looked like scoring. Yeah. Sunderland got their game plan right. They got people behind the ball. And when you come up against that low block, you've got to move the ball quick. You've got to look to get in behind. And we didn't do any of that. We were pedestrian in everything that we did today. Absolutely pedestrian.
It's worrying, isn't it? This has been there at times this season, then they've gone on a good run. 3 wins from 4 in the league. And it hasn't been perfect while they've been getting those results. But this is really worrying. Sunderland are going to pose for a celebratory picture, aren't they? Aping what Newcastle did in the derby.
I hate them pictures. Yeah. I hate doing it because, and I tell you why I hate it, because somewhere along the line, it's always going to come back and bite you on the backside.
Yeah, and it has now.
Yeah.
But you can understand why they've done it. So fair play. And they've been the better team. It is Sunderland's afternoon. It's their season so far. And I wonder if the red and whites who disapproved and took a dim view of Newcastle's post-match photo in the FA Cup 2 years ago will have changed their view on it. But that's evens, all square and fair enough, I say. A couple of red flares have been set off behind the goal to the right. The goal that won the game. I mean, you have to feel so sorry for Nick Baltamada. I just couldn't believe what I was watching. He got up, connected, great technique for a header.
Great header.
And you said he couldn't have left it.
No.
And it goes in, and it's just a weird way for a goal to be scored and to win the game. Mind you, I mean, Sunderland didn't create much. Isidore had a shot saved. That was about it. But
look, if you're
awful way to
honest,
lose.
Neither side really created a great deal. Neither keepers had too much to do. But Sunderland were the better side. They passed the ball better. They wanted it more than we did, and that's not a nice thing to say. But you could see it. They wanted it more than we did. Yeah. Which you can't say enough. You can't say that about this Newcastle side too many times. And this was a big one. You know, this is huge as far as bragging rights and everything else goes. But better side won.
And they look like a good team, and you can't see them doing anything other than surviving comfortably, even though they're going to lose some of their big players to the Africa Cup of Nations. Newcastle, well, it's going to be very interesting to hear what Eddie Howe says. We'll get some reaction on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Sounds before 5. Switch over to the BBC Sounds app if you've been listening on the BBC Sport website and app. John Anderson will be here alongside Gary Bennett and Simon Pride. 0800 234 6565 or tweet us at BBC Newcastle. They didn't deserve anything and they were well beaten. Sunderland have won the derby by a goal to nil.
Weekday mornings from 10.
Christmas time, movies, brand new one, Tinseltown, directed by the wonderful Chris Foggin, who was born right here in Sunderland. And it wasn't filmed far away from here. Actor Kiefer Sutherland got to experience the lovely northeast weather in the process.
I think where he's from, in Canada, I think he was used to the cold. There was times I'd be like, do you not need a keep warm jacket on? And he was fine.
That's funny. So he's come from Canada. We're up here in the northeast going, oh, honestly, you'll be freezing. And he's like, nah, you're just soft in Sunderland, man. Northeast, like the Caribbean compared to Canada.
Anna Foster, weekday mornings from 10.
Just ask your smart speaker to play BBC Radio Newcastle. Total Sport North East.
Call free 0800 234 6565.
BBC Radio Newcastle.
Yes, give us a call this afternoon. We'd love to hear from you. 0800 234 6565 is the number to dial. If you want to send us a message, 08000 321 333. Start your message with the letters BBC. That's on WhatsApp. 81333 on text. Again, start your message with the letters BBC. We would love to hear from you this afternoon. Whether you're a Sunderland supporter or a Newcastle fan, you might have been listening to our coverage, you might have been watching on television and just tuning in now in order to hear a bit of post-match reaction and to join in yourself. Well, we would love to get you on the radio if you have something to say to John Anderson, former Newcastle fullback, and Gary Bennett, the ex-Sunderland skipper and centre-half. We'd love to get you on BBC Radio Newcastle after a 1-0 victory for Sunderland. It was a nervy end to the game, with a scuffle breaking out in the last seconds of injury time, which meant another 4 or 5 minutes was added on, and lots to talk about. Maybe not in terms of the quality of the match. It wasn't a brilliant match in terms of free-flowing football. We probably expected it wouldn't have been, but it had all the tension, all the drama. It had an own goal to win it from Nick Voltemada, and Sunderland have won the derby. It means that overall the scores are level in terms of over the history of well over a century of derbies. They've now won an equal number, which will be
over the last seven
of little consolation to Newcastle United fans this evening. 0800 234 6565. Do give us a call. I'll let you know the other scores which have been taking place in the Premier League this afternoon. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester City 3, a couple for Haaland, one for Foden there. Nottingham Forest have beaten Spurs by 3 goals to 0, 2 for Hudson-Odoi, 1 for Sankare, and West Ham 2, Aston Villa 3. Villa coming from behind